Sometimes being diagnosed with any type of cancer, and in this case particularly lung cancer, can be incredibly difficult for the individual.
It was really quite a revelation, and it sort of turned my life upside down as to what I'd always known, and it was a bit like a death, I think, to the extent that my whole life had changed and gone, and suddenly this new one was in its place.
Some of the ways that people have talked about coping with their diagnosis have included simple things like remembering to have a cry, have a laugh. You're still a person. You need to remember who you are. Some of the other things that people have said are things like focusing day to day on what you're doing and what you can achieve. Perhaps set your limits around what you know you can do and what you can't do. Do those things that you feel most comfortable doing. If you're still well enough and you feel like working and you're able to work, continue to do that. Some of the things that are more challenging, perhaps they can be put away to another day.
When our eldest son was killed, people would cross the road so they didn't have to talk to you about this. And I wanted to talk about it. And I think it's the same with cancer. People don't want to talk about it because they're shy about it. But they shouldn't. You should discuss it and talk to your friends. And
my family were more upset than I was, because I look at it this way: you've only got one life, so you really got to get on with it. And so I put my back to the wall and I thought, well, I'm not going anywhere. And they were more upset, so they got the message. They were not to worry, that I was going to be all right, and that's how I handle it.
When I was faced with the nasty little chore of telling the kids, it was something I didn't want to do, because I sort of felt for them more than I felt for myself, I think, because it was going to be a burden for them, and I knew it was going to be very upsetting as well. So anyway, we went around there and to my daughter's place, and I said, she's made a cuppa, of course, as she always does. And I said, yeah, I need this. And I said, and you're going to need it too. I said, I've got a bit of news for you. Really, it was traumatic. It's very hard emotionally. And, I think that was probably one of the things. I think it's been one of the most emotional trips that I've had in my life, really.